Medusa wanders alone between the mists and the waves, her hair transformed into a hissing viper, dancing wildly in the wind. Her eyes, once filled with piety, are now cursed with a deep well of death. Anyone who laid eyes on her would instantly be turned into a cold stone statue. Heroes covet her, eager to trade her head for immortal glory. Countless warriors had threatened to behead her, but none of them returned. Their figures, which could only be turned into cold stone statues on the desert island, forever fixed in the moment of fear. But her story is not yet over. A new figure is riding the waves, cold blade in hand, carrying God's will. The man was Perseus. He was not the strongest warrior or the most illustrious prince, just a teenager in exile on the island of Seriphos, burdened with his mother's humiliation and the king's intrigues. The tyrant Polydeuces, who covets Perseus's mother Danae, sets a deadly trap. "Bring back the head of Medusa," he sneers, determined that the task will cost the young man's life. The other heroes fail because they believe that brute force conquers all, wielding their spears and looking straight into Medusa's deadly gaze, eventually becoming part of the stone statue. Unlike others, Perseus deeply understood that mortals could not challenge the myths alone. So he bowed his head and prayed to the gods for a silver lining. The gods, with their individual calculations, promised to help Perseus. Athena handed him a bronze shield smooth as a mirror, strong enough to reflect that death glare. Hermes, the crafty messenger, tossed him a pair of flying shoes to skim like the wind over the bites of the vipers. Hades, the lord of the underworld, gave him an invisibility hat to disguise himself as a ghost and infiltrate the monster's lair. These artifacts, which ignited Perseus's hopes, silently proclaimed that Medusa's fate had long been pronounced by Mount Olympus. Perseus traveled to the deserted island on his flying shoes across the raging waves. The invisibility cap hides his figure. The flying shoes keep him suspended in midair, and the shield allows him to catch Medusa in the darkness. He resolutely raised his sharp blade and slashed at Medusa decisively. Medusa's head fell to the ground in response, her serpentine hair still twitching, but her gaze lost its luster forever. But no one knew that Medusa was pregnant with Poseidon's child. With Medusa's death, from her blood, the giant Chrysaor and the Pegasus horse were born. Pegasus lifted his wings and rushed into the sky, as if taking Medusa's unfinished soul with him. Perseus sets out on his way home with the spoils of war held high. He offers the head of Medusa to Athena. The goddess holds Medusa's head high on her shield and gazes at the glory of victory. From then on, Medusa's gaze was not her own. It became a symbol of defense and deterrence. As night falls on the kingdom, cheers ring through Seriphos. Perseus is crowned a hero, and poets compose immortal chapters in his honor. And on the backside of the bustle, the mists of the deserted island continue to whisper, as if telling another story. A story of a young priestess, betrayed by the gods and hunted by the humans. Myths are told over and over again. Characters are reimagined. Thousands of years have passed, and Medusa still gazes at us without hatred or resentment, just gazing. Perhaps, long ago, she was not a person, but a mirror. What do you see in Medusa's gaze? Is she a monster?